Today we have to talk about Team Liquid, because yesterday there was only one performance that was worse than Team Liquid, and that was Joe Biden. Now today we're mostly going to focus on their Ascent game, which was pretty bad, but I'm just going to show you one round from Lotus here, where it's 4-1. We're going to take a look at round 6. They're going to take a timeout after this round, right? So they're going to be 4-2 up. They're going to lose this round, but they're going to be 4-2 up, and they're going to take a timeout, and they're going to take a second timeout in this half as well, because that's how bad kind of this round was, and then it continued to be for most of the half.
Also an emotional team.
Yeah, not the best of starts, but we have seen them pull off some sort of comeback before. I'm not sold just yet early in the game, but this first blood is mighty helpful. I think somehow Kiko makes it away, but it's...
Right, so this is just not very good, right? We have a 4-stack here. This is a full buy for both sides, right? Important round. We've got 4 players here, right? Nats is going to come and put a camera here out towards B, and these 4 are going to come and, you know, fight A, right? There's 4 of you here. And normally when you have 4 players here, you know, and your Cypher is just lurking somewhere else on the map, normally you're going to, you know, actually try and take this space. But just take a look at what happens here, because what I don't understand what's going on. Okay, Mystic, he does his job, right? Mystic's going to throw a smoke. You can just see it starting to bloom here, right? So he's going to throw this smoke just here. And Mystic, you can just see him. He's TPing down here, right? So Mystic, he does his job. Okay, you might just see just here we have a Seize that's coming out. Now, interesting to throw the Seize first, but I guess they're expecting the Neon to come and run down here for BBL, right? So they're trying to catch the Neon in the Seize. Okay, makes some sense. You know, Mystic is already out here. The one way is coming up from BBL. They've got the stuns here as well. No one else is out yet, right? No one else is out yet, and Mystic's already in the process of TPing across. I don't really understand that. And because no one else is out yet, which, again, it's not like they're playing against a Raze, right? We're playing against a Neon. So there is no, like, nade in here that, like, has to stop us. And you should know where this stun goes. And, you know, there is a pocket here to kind of come in and play. We then get the Fade Haunt up here from BBL as well that you can see. And, of course, no one is there to destroy it. So that reveals Mystic here down at the bottom of the screen, because no one else is moving forward, apparently. So Mystic is just going to die because he's getting revealed. And we got the Omen TP here up as well from BBL. And so that's pretty much going to be a free kill just here. And whilst all of this is going on, right? So, I mean, if we just run it forward a bit further, like Kiko also gets revealed there. You know, Brave gets a free kill on Mystic, who's out on his own, TPing across. Whilst all of this is going on, Yampy hasn't used any breach util. He started only with 1 flash in this round. You can see his creds are low here. You know, he's got light shields. He doesn't have, so he only had 1 flash to begin with, and he hasn't used any of it. Are we fighting A here or not? I don't understand. Are we fighting? There's 4 people here. So it looks like you're trying to fight this, but are you? I don't know, because our breach isn't using any util. So I don't know. You know, so Mystic dies for free. You know, and we get to the end of this. Enzo dies as well. And I mean, still, Yampy hasn't used any util either. So yeah, just not very good. Okay, but now let's move on to Ascent, where really it was bad from the very start, right? And it starts with this pistol round. I mean, let's first talk about the comp, because the comp, a lot of the things we're going to talk about today come back to this comp, because they're playing the default comp with a Cypher instead of Killjoy and an ISO instead of a KO, okay? And let me start there with the ISO, because I have no problem necessarily with a team deciding that they want to, you know, try and lean into the ISO whilst it's still, you know, potentially very strong and all of that. I've got no problem with that. You know, that's absolutely fine. However, putting all of these different agents together in one comp, we'll just see is going to give them a lot of problems. Now, on this pistol round as well, you might notice here that also we've got 4 sheriffs here on a pistol round. Now, statistically, already, I can tell you that Team Liquid were not very likely to win this round just based off the fact they bought 4 sheriffs. But also the round that they go for with those sheriffs kind of doesn't make any sense either.
Very deep setup that Nats has towards that B site, and Team Liquid, they go searching for information mid.
They do indeed. It's Yampy to be the spearhead of this attack. Takes a little bit of damage and opts out of the fight, while BBL look to switch up the pace over to this B site. Power gets spotted early, so make sure that he's got some cover. And the smoke from Kiko may allow him to move out of there, but Kiko, yes, he wasn't vulnerable to the first shot, but the second one from Kushner was enough to put him to an early grave. BBL, they haven't quite made the decision to move into this B site yet. They're being very meticulous about it, which has bought time for Mystic to start to angle an attack from the back line. Brave only just breaking Nat's tripwire.
They've only got a camera to watch that flank as well. It's just checked.
And they will be looking to see if they can isolate Mystic while Brave goes in for the fight against Nats. A successful first fight, which BBL will be happy about. They'll get the spike down, and Team Liquid unable to put the pressure on, dropping 2 players. Mystic, that's the first shot. Now Elite takes the corner, takes the fight, but is not able to take Mystic down. He'll end up dropping to Braves' hands.
Okay, so let's talk about this then. I mean, the first thing is this, right? Let's talk about the Sheriff buy. So I understand that it makes sense for a Jet to buy a Sheriff on defensive fifth round. You could argue the same for an ISO as well, right? That makes some sense. You could even argue that, okay, with a Sova, it also makes some sense, right? For maybe some spam with a dart and whatever. Okay, makes sense. It never really makes sense for an Omen, and you never really should buy 3 Sheriffs anyway, just as an FYI. But, you know, it is what it is, okay? Whatever, we've gone with that buy. But then if you're going for this round, right, you've decided to all come and fight out mid, which you might think, hey, with the Sheriffs, that makes sense, right? Like, you know, in these longer range fights right here, you know, we should be favored with our Sheriffs, right? We've got all 4 Sheriffs here, and Nat's just chilling on the backside of B. So you might think that that makes some sense, right? The problem is, if they go A, or if they go B, and take the site, which they're likely to do because you've stacked mid, how are you ever going to retake the site with no util? Don't know. And so then what happens, of course, is, I mean, it's funny, they don't even win this fight in mid. They actually kind of end up losing this fight in mid, essentially, which is also kind of funny. But, you know, here we go. And I don't really know why Nats can't be here with them either as well. I don't know why Nats is just chilling. I mean, I guess he's going for kind of the surprise element, but, you know, it's kind of a bit weird. Then we also get this, right? So if we just take a look at what happens, so they retreat from mid, right? They actually kind of end up losing this fight, you know, tucking tail and running away over towards B, you know, as they figured out it's now a B hit. And then Yampy goes away, and of course, here we go. We get the first of many problems. Kiko's just going to swing through the smoke on his own, you know, no support there with anyone else. And this is a problem that you'll get from quite a few ISOs, is they think that this shield makes them completely invulnerable. And I understand that sometimes it kind of does, but, you know, it also... a lot of these ISO games, I'm kind of already sick of it, because it just feels like there's so much bad gameplay with these ISOs of people, you know, just thinking they can do whatever they want and they'll always win. And you get a lot of deaths like that where it's like, what are you doing? Right? And then we end up in this scenario where Nats is trapped on his own. There's no util to help him. You know, he just has to kind of wait here. They have no util to try and get back onto the site. The smoke comes back up. Those guys are stuck. Nats is going to die. And we have nothing to get back in, right? And we end up losing the round. Because of course we do, because our plan made no sense. Now the thing is, after that round, Liquid actually started to put some rounds together. They actually ended up 4-2 up. And the way that they did that was BBL were doing a lot of kind of faster site execs, and Team Liquid were able to stop them, right? Which is great for them. And so what did they decide to do from this point onwards? They're up 4-2. What did they think should be a good idea for them to try next? Well, of course, what they wanted to do then was go for a mid fight. You know, you can kind of see it on the map here already. And, okay, we're going to go for some kind of mid fight. Well, you might ask, what's the problem with that? There's no problem, right? Well, the problem is their comp. The problem is their comp can't mid fight really that well, because they don't have any flash. You know, certainly not if, okay, they have an Omen Flash, but it's not going to cover all of mid as you would want it to, right? So this just isn't maybe the best mid fighting comp. I understand that you might want to do that because you've got this double duelist and you think that they can fight mid or whatever, but it's going to be a lot of dry swinging like this.
Free flowing, he will look here. The smoke is perfect to allow BBL to cross through, but Yampy doesn't care about smokes. The smokes are just an abstract concept for him. Kiko moves in, but doesn't matter to Kushner. Spray transfer is perfection. But Enzo wants to reply. No, it's actually Reezy's Hunter's Fury. But still, it's BBL ahead here. They've done magnificent work to shut down Team Liquid aggressing in mid.
Especially because that null command could deny the Hunter's Fury in return on that plant.
So yeah, just not very good, horrendous. It's nice by Kushner. He had a really good game on this one. But I mean, if we just take a look at it, right? Okay, we're going for a mid fight, you know, is what it looks like. We actually do send out like an ISO vulnerable here with a one-way in the camera, so we pretend almost like we're, you know, kind of aggroing A, and then we're going to actually come and aggro mid, which is fine. There's no problem with that. But here we go. Yampy's going to come out towards mid just here, right? And he takes his shot, but he goes. Again, our timing here with the rest of the team maybe could be a little bit better, right? Maybe you want to do that with some amount of utility coming out from the rest of the team, but I guess not. Okay, Yampy then runs away, right? And you would think like, oh, okay, so, you know, Yampy's now low, but hey, these guys are coming, so we're going to re-aggress as a team, right? No, not at all. Yampi's just going to run away and be like, see you later, guys. Don't care. Like, you do you. You know, these guys are going to come and just swing out with poor spacing, no util. They're going to go before, you know, Enzo shoots this dart here, because of course they are. And yeah, so you see Enzo shooting a dart there. Kiko's already dead before the dart has even come out, right? You see the dart is going to land just now, but it gets shot and it's, you know, too late. We're already dead, and we end up in a 4v3, right? So we're doing something that our comp kind of can't do that well anyway, right? Because we are just dry swinging out to them in mid, but then we also do it with terrible, you know, teamwork and coordination, and so we're going to end up losing this round. Okay, so we know that we have a comp that, you know, maybe isn't the best at mid fighting because of those lack of flashes. So very next round, what do you think we decide to do?
This time too. Smoke towards bottom mid. Yumpi's not going to challenge it this time, not after how the last look went. Full mid control here, comfortable for BBL. Tree contested by 2 players. You do have Mystic with a Paranoia available in case Nats gets in trouble.
Kushina not quite fancying his chances. Freezy. Good. Aldrone spotting out 2 players. Oh. Hunter Shuri, enabled by Enzo. First tag successful, but it's easy to find first blood out in mid. Nats gets caught out. Kiko tries to reply, but in the meantime loses his teammate. That's the spike, so it does mean that BBL need to get into shaky ground to retrieve it.
Okay, so again, this one maybe isn't quite as bad because, you know, they have a Solver ult to kind of do it with, and that's at least some util that's, you know, kind of creating some distraction and chaos in there. But it's still not probably enough, and you know, again, it's not fully done as a team, right? So I understand we're trying to make use of the fact, like, hey, we've used our shield, now's kind of our time to, you know, do something. Now's our time to go. And you see, like, at the map right now, it's not too bad necessarily here, right? And it looks like at this moment, you know, Kiko's getting ready to throw out a vulnerable here to hopefully, you know, chain with the Solver ult, you know, and then it's a one-shot kill, which he should just throw out anyway, really, but he decides not to for whatever reason. I don't really know. Again, maybe Yampi could be here as well, right? Just helping with the mid fight, if that's what we're going for. He could be, but he's not. And it's not awful, right? Like, the Solver ult is coming out now, and Nats is swinging here from short now, right? Like, it's not awful, but again, we just don't really have enough. You know, there's just not enough with this. This just isn't the comp to do this. And so, again, you know, what ends up happening here is, if we take a look at the map, I mean, Nats, you know, just swings out. But this guy's not getting hit by the Solver ult, so, you know, it's just a dry swing out, right? And then, okay, Kiko's going to manage to get one back. But then the same thing happens again here to Mystic, basically, you know, where he's just dry swinging out. And now we're just in a 4v3 again.
Doesn't mean that BBL need to get into shaky ground to retrieve it, but they've got the numbers, and with the smoke, it covers their ground.
Yeah, but look at how far Yumpi has walked out here as well. Of course, there is a trip to stall him. Just the pressure that he's looking to put to fall back, knowing that they are at that numbers disadvantage. Sync back up with the team towards A.
Well, the broken trip does lure BBL to keep an extra set of eyes in that direction, but the A site is seemingly the BBL plan of attack. Team Liquid might have read this though. Enzo holding out the right corner. That's a good pre-fire shot onto Kushina, but Kiko is in trouble to the back of the site, leaving Yampi alone, and he's got a less than optimal weapon to work with on this 1v3 clutch. What? Did that connect? It did!
Okay.
So yeah, we lose the round pretty much just there, and so Yampi, of course, now in a 1v3 where, you know, some of his teammates are fairly low on credits, as he is himself. At this point, he's just going to save the op. Right?
4 HP, and Odin picked up, and that's the perfect one if you want to shut down low players.
Vandal in hand now as well. Para and Elite are so low.
Does he know it though? Oh, I think the recon landed right on him. Not the recon.
Now let's come to the attack side, because this is really where I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea how in scrims this works on attack, right? How does this comp win on Ascent attack side? I have no idea. Not one. The only thing I can think is that in scrims, these two just aim diff everyone. Right? That's the only thing I can think of. Because otherwise, how the hell does this comp win on attack side Ascent? It doesn't. It fundamentally just doesn't, basically. And we saw that because they didn't win a single attacking round. And so if their win condition was to aim diff people, well, this pistol round very quickly told them that was not going to happen in this game versus BBL.
Difference to the pacing of this map. BBL win this And they might as well call it a day. Kushner will be holding out mid. The only player, no assistance in that regard. So if he does choose to go for the short peek, he may be in trouble. Team Liquid are looking with three forwards. They'll check the left-hand side. Oh, Kiko might have had time to adjust there, but not quite. And the dash allows Kushner to walk away. Doesn't take any damage.
No.
Kushner, what are you doing? All by yourself. This is not the BBL show. This is the Kushner show.
Unless he hard clears out that spot here on Pora, the timing should be perfect for a clean round for BBL.
I'm going to be honest to you here. I have no idea how this works with this dart. Like, if we look at where this dart lands, I guess, I mean, look at where this dart lands, right? So it lands here, right? Kushner is going to slightly move left. And obviously he can tell that he's not going to get scanned by this dart. But just from like our POV, I was like mystified like how this didn't hit him. But it's kind of crazy. It's also kind of weird as well. You do not often see on Ascent just like a random Sova dart thrown out here, right? Like you don't often get that. That's like just in my mind like something you don't often see. You know, normally it's a lineup of some kind of dart, I guess, to avoid stuff like this, you know, because Enzo just kind of throws one out and it looks good, but obviously it's not. And then Kushner punishes them for it. But then if we take a look at the anti-bonus round here, right, round number 15, where Team Liquid should be the favored team to win. I think that this round just shows you, like, how did this comp ever get past, like, the first scrim phase?
The buy to come through, haven't been able to find much cycling into any of these ultimates early on either, with how dominant these BBL rounds have been for the last two since we swapped sides.
Well, Team Liquid. Oh no!
Kushi is on one right now.
Insult to injury. Kushner, even up against ISOs, he doesn't care. He is enabled today. He's still alive. He doesn't really need to get out. He knows there's a chance that he can end up on top. Breezy there to support him. Mystic, he really wanted that kill, but it does cost him his life. Team Liquid losing player after player. Don't have an answer.
Yeah, it's just not very good. It's just not very good here. And you see that they're just chasing with a ton of dry swings. Okay, this time we get a lineup coming in towards mid, and, you know, it clears that first part out. So I guess they learned the lesson from before. But now you see, I mean, how is this just not going to be a problem throughout the entirety of your game? Right, like, because once, okay, Kushner wins the first fight, right, and he dashes out this way. At this point, against most comps, you know, he's in a lot of trouble, right? He's in a lot of trouble here. But they don't have anything to deal with him, right? They don't have anything to deal with him, and he kind of misses his smoke here, so he's still trapped here. And again, we think we're completely invulnerable here, but, you know, this guy's better than you, so you lose that fight. And, you know, he somehow manages to survive that as well, you know, and then... You know, this is our one bit of utility. This is it. We've got an Omen Flash, and that's basically it, right? And it's just, you just don't stand much of a chance, right? Okay, Mystic gets one, but it's too late for that, you know, and then again, we're just dry swing, dead. And the next one here, round number 16, I mean, looks like a ranked round, I'm not going to lie. They start up group towards B main, right? You see the map like this, and what do you expect? You think like, oh, okay, this is like we're going to rush B round, right? Right? No, because of course it isn't, right? Because take a look at what happens instead. So we're going to send a vulnerable out for a spam. Okay, that's quite a nice idea. But then we get smacked by a KO knife. Okay, you're not expecting the KO towards B. Maybe you're not expecting the knife here. But, you know, I think maybe like 3 of them got hit by the KO knife. And I think it was Yampy and Kiko here who didn't get hit by the KO knife just there. But guess what happens next? The Cypher camera is going to see who? The Jet and the ISO. Right, so BBL at this point have like full info that everyone is here. Right? Are Team Liquid aware that the BBL know that everyone is here? No, of course they're not. Right, because what that means is, take a look at over towards A, we're going to push down A. Right, because the KO knife on B and now the camera on B have spotted everyone on B. Right, and this is where it gets a bit like a ranked round, right? That like, oh, we were coming B. Oh, we got hit by everything. Oh, everyone back into mid. You know, leave that area of the map. On to the next one. Right? Again, unaware that anything like this could have happened. It's a nice play by Brave. Of course it is. But, you know, I mean, just... Do we leave someone in B main, you know, to try and create some presence there? Maybe punish if they're just going to, you know, walk out contact, try and re-clear it. Are we going to do that? No, everyone come back into mid. And of course, we end up with this.
I think there's a chance that Brave has snuck past. So Team Liquid, focused, tunnel visioned in mid. This could be a big deal. Brave has even got a second chance to shut down Kiko. That's 2 kills to nothing.
And so yeah, that's bad enough. But then, I mean, what happens next is, you know, basically just as bad and the same, right? Because what's going to happen next is they're going to come back towards B main, right? They've heard a drone come out here in B main, right? A drone has come back out here in B main. What does that normally represent? It normally represents that someone could be here, especially when they have money for an op. And again, how does this comp ever be an op? I don't know. I mean, Enzo still does have his drone and the dart here. You know, if we want to, like this is a 3-4. This is still winnable, right? This is still winnable. Of course, what happens instead is Yampy just swings out on its own and dies. Because of course he does. And then finally the last round, which ends in a fitting way for Team Liquid. I mean, BBL here, they go for this. And again, like, look at the double stack that they've got here on A, right? So they've got the Omen and the KO here. I don't know how again, how does this comp beat this setup? I don't know. It just doesn't, basically. Like answering the question, like, it doesn't, because I'm not sure that an Omen Flash, like, you would never send the Omen Flash this way anyway, right? You're normally just sending it down here anyway. So you're probably not going to Omen Flash them. If they can shoot a drone, like, you're just destroyed. Any op is just going to give you massive problems as well. Like, it just makes no sense. But this round ends fittingly for Team Liquid.
Well, they know this is not where Team Liquid wants to be, where any of these players wants to be.
Look at this high-low setup over towards A as well. They're maybe expecting Team Liquid to have pushed over towards A main, try to deny the control that BBL were previously taking from them. So they make the adjustment. They pull a little bit further back.
Yampy assisted with Mystic, moving into short. Kushner has got the perfect angle for this. Sideline covered.
They're baiting them in.
Funneling them exactly where they want them. Slight adjustment to avoid the cam. And goes in for a bite. No, good smoke, but he can be above it. That's a quick kill for Kushner. Kiko trying to bring a 1v1. He's won it last time, and he will win it again. Brave on the backside. Team Liquid eager to get around on the board, but surely they need to take it a lot further than that. Kushner looking to cause more trouble with his blades, but unable to do so. He can opt out of this. He can just walk away and hand this round over to Team Liquid. They've got many more rounds to go for, but they don't care. They just want to give this a fight. Because if they make a 2v4 work, now that is a statement and a half. BBL aren't a team to play around with, toy around with.
Nat's at half health as well. There is the Hunter's Fury here for Enzo, but he's not in position to use it.
Well, the Fenzo was out in the open there. That could have been a potential kill by Kushner, but Nats has got the angle right. The pre-fight comes in from the jet, but Elite has to trade it. Not much time on the clock. Elite will try and find the kills. Is there time for the defuse? No way.
So yeah, of course they lost a 4v2. And actually, to get to that point, the round was quite nice, right? With the ISO ult and all that stuff. But of course they had to lose this situation because of course they did, right? And, you know, again, you get Kiko here just, you know, out fighting on his own. You know, dies on his own just there. Again, maybe thinking he's just invincible, essentially, playing this ISO character. And dies. And look, it's nice by BBL, right? The aim at the end by Elite is, like, really, really good. It was just a fitting way for this game to end, though, wasn't it? But for Liquid, I mean, again, there was more rounds on Lotus that I could have shown you, to be honest, because Lotus was not good by any stretch of the imagination. But this comp just annoyed me so much that, you know, I just had to talk about this one, basically. But yeah, goodbye BBL, but Team Liquid... woof.